this meeting, this special meeting of the MAU Board with the purpose of reviewing the zoning, the bringing before the public a warning for the building of or redoing of Spinelli Field. I'd like to just go through our list here to see who we have at present. I'm going to read off your name. If you are here or can answer, please do so. We'll start with Leon.
DC.
Carrie Bond. Jackie Kelly. Dave.
Yes.
Fran.
Yes.
Ed.
Here.
Susan.
Here.
Tori. Rich. Stephanie. Ron.
Yes.
We will. I hear people coming in, so good. Jackie, you're here. It's
up to you.
Come on in. We're gonna delay it for just a few minutes to give stragglers the time to get in here. We have 8 people, so we're all set. We have a quorum. While we're reviewing that, I'm sure that most of you read Renee's message to us all in that even if you are not here, if you are attending this meeting via Zoom, it's still requested that you come into the central office to sign this document. I guess they have to be signed at a given place by with a pen. You can't just do it by a DocuSign or something.
Correct.
That is correct.
Waiting.
Okay, but we'll give it just a few minutes.
Gary's coming in now.
Oh, good.
Before we
Yeah.
start,
The meeting has been called to order.
Yes,
Oh,
yes,
yeah.
you have started. Carrie. Good, you're there. Very good. I'm glad you're there. I have an announcement to make that will interest you. Do you have any? That's Ron up there. We'll give it another until 5 past.
Okay.
That
And
gives
then,
us,
yeah, the first thing on the agenda is public comment.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
I hear voices out there. That's why I'm hesitant about moving forward.
I'm hearing voices.
Well, Jackie, I did get your message concerning being sure that all board members are on the list from central office, and somehow or other it got lost in the shuffle. So I mentioned it again today, and Renee, that
It's an
Well-
email thing, and
well, it's not on the list either. In
oh,
other words, both Ron and Stephanie are not on it. So
Oh, okay.
we've got to, we'll get those lists.
I will follow up.
We'll follow up to be
Yeah.
sure that it's done. Richard, are you there? I see your name.
Yep, Richard's there.
Good.
And Cat TV.
Well, we'll open this meeting then to public comments. Are there any public comments?
I do, but.
Go ahead.
it's all right. Obviously, I'm not gonna vote for this, and it has nothing to do with about being against education or anything. You have the thing that's going on down in Washington DC with the administration we have. They want to spend trillions of dollars. You got people here in this community that are struggling to make ends meet, and we say that taxes aren't gonna rise, but sure they're gonna rise. I mean, like anything else. And I just think we got a high school with a 50-year-old building that we know is gonna have major repairs. We've got the weight room, the wrestling room. We got a location for a new central office. We have, God knows what's coming down the pike with these buildings. So for me, I've talked to enough people that they think we're nuts doing what we're doing, and that's their opinion, that's their wording, not mine. And I hear what Mr. Frederickson says. I've heard what Leon says. I get it. But I just think it's not the time, because we don't know what's going to happen. And I just think we're putting a lot of things at risk Nothing against our students or anything else, because I know somebody's gonna say, oh, I'm against the schools or anything, and that's the furthest thing from the truth. So anyway, that's my opinion.
Very good.
I agree with the things Fran has said. I'm concerned that we have no idea of what kind of repairs are gonna be needed to the main MAU building to bring that up to code under the codes that exist now, as opposed to when it was built in 1972. And I also question, this project started out as looking for a solution to repair drainage problems on the field. And now we've got basically a gold-plated solution. And it doesn't even come with a fixed price on what it's gonna cost, and yet we want to issue a bond to pay for it. And I think we need more information overall about the whole building and what exactly are we getting for the $3.5 million for this, which is actually going to after-school activities. It's not even going to primary educate the students. There's something that doesn't add up for me.
Dave?
Well, the after school, I disagree with that. I think a lot of education happens after school, but that's a whole nother thing. I just wanted to tell you a story. September 18th, the John James tournament. I was there watching the game, and the second game was a great game. It was a 1-1 tie. They went into overtime, 10-minute overtime, still a tie, 10-minute overtime, still a tie. Then they go to goal kicks, 4-4, still a tie. They said, okay, we'll go to sudden death goal kicks. The Bradboro kid comes up, plants his foot, swings, slips out because the field is already starting to go, and the ball trickles off on the side. The Burton kid finds a solid place, and he nails it. But just an example of problems the field cause.
Very good. Well, there certainly are arguments, and we will have plenty of opportunity. Jackie?
yes, well, as long as everybody else is chipping in, I totally agree with Fran. You know, I just look at this as a major fund that could snowball and become greater than it is right now. I mean, we started out with a small amount in 2018, and then it ballooned up to 6 million. And then the last meeting, it's down to 3.6 million. And it's like, what is that? You know, how come? And I sat home and I figured it out. It's because the ongoing cost to keep up the field would amount to double what it is. And so even at Fran's last point that he made at the last meeting, how much does the machine cost? Do we have the machine? Maybe Fran could speak a little bit more to that, but there is a machine involved and it's over $100,000. Am I correct?
There's a couple of machines, and I didn't,
But we don't,
Dig into
we can make a comment. I don't want to get into a discussion.
Right.
because
So
Right.
then-
you can make your comment.
The-
and, you know, I understand what you're saying.
Right, and so I think it's just a balloon that's happening, but when I went home from that last meeting, I turned on the news and guess what? There's this small little school out in Colorado who wanted the same thing that these kids want without a $385,000 ticket booth. And they said they couldn't raise the money, and turns out somebody gave them the money, or a corporate sponsor gave them the money, and it was only $895,000. So, you know, you look at $895,000 for the same kind of turf. It was the same kind of turf, broadcast on the news. And then somebody wrote to me this week and said, there's schools up in Burlington that only paid less than $1.5 million for theirs. Now, true, it was 3 years ago, but $1.5 million and 3 million. So I think what we need, and perhaps the sticking point is another estimate. And I know WMF has done a great job and has laid it out, but maybe we need a couple of other estimates, and why do we only have one?
We don't have a definite estimate. What we have is the engineer's belief that that is an accurate number.
So what are we in, open, in,
We're just,
Comments?
we're open in public, we're not really, I really shouldn't have gone in there. I'd like just to make a public comment in that there has been, it's been brought to my attention that there is some concern about
PFOA.
BFOAs, and that there are no BFOAs in any of the materials used in our project. The engineer has certified that. There are no BFOAs, am I correct?
PFOA?
BFOAs in any of the products, any related to any of the construction of this project. Okay, are there any other public comments? If not, then we'll move on to the business of this meeting. Consideration adoption of resolution of necessary for capital. Is there any discussion on that? We've already heard from some people.
If this project turned out to cost less than the bond, what happens to the excess money from the bond?
We can pay it back early, so essentially paying down the principal.
Yeah, we can, but are we required to?
It would depend upon the agreement of the bond at the time we go out to
Okay.
seal.
Are there any other questions concerning the bond?
Yes, and I asked this at the last meeting as well, and you told me all that's covered in the policy. So I looked at the policies.
Right.
The only one I found that really pertained to it was 1090. And in that 1090 hasn't been renewed since, well, at least for Mount Anthony, since 6/26/2000. So, you know, we're 21 years
Right.
out on it, and it doesn't even mention the field for Mount Anthony.
No, I think that what that policy does, it simply says where the money goes that is collected for admissions and that sort of thing.
No, it doesn't say where it goes, because that's what I was looking for. It says it's collected, and then it has, as all policies, the policy is broad, which is great. But and then it has all of the administrative rules on it. And the administrative rules are like 6 pages. Okay, so the policy is just 1 page. But the administrative rules have it going to, and this can be changed, I know that. So the administrative rules have it going and setting by the board, and the board is supposed to look at this every year, and to my knowledge, it hasn't happened. And so I'd like that reinstituted, and I'd like back copies of that collections reinstituted, because they're all, I call it earmarked, but they're all specified. And it's the principal and the board who sets the fees. Now, because the fees involved in not refurbishing, but making sure there are no rips or tears after somebody uses that field, I think those fees should be higher than just, custodial cleanup.
Right, I think that your point is certainly valid. It is a policy, and Leon can certainly address that at a different time. It should be reviewed.
They're admin regs.
If the regs, the whole policy, just to be sure that if we feel, as you said, if the board feels that changes should be made to that, there's a certain procedure that we would follow to do that.
And when could it happen?
Well, I don't know. I can't put it.
Before the field is.
Oh, yeah, but before, obviously, it's built, we could do that, and that would be up to the policy committee, and Leon, I'm sure will follow through on that. Are there any other issues that like to be brought up in terms of that? If not, then we can move on. Renee, you'll have to refresh my memory as to what we want to do and how we want to do it.
So with the resolution, we just need to confirm that the content adequately describes the project. If that's all set. And I think we've encapsulated the track resurfacing, the field, turf, the building, and then the site improvements, including the lighting, parking, ADA accessibility. So that's all described there. If that's okay, the other thing that needs to happen is the board needs to pick a date and time for the public informational hearing that has to be held within 10 days of the vote.
We discussed this very briefly earlier at the meeting, and we proposed the date of October 25.
Okay, so
It
it's a
would be-
Monday.
it
At what
would-
time?
It would be held at 5 o'clock.
Okay.
It would be held here at central office, and it would be open for a Zoom meeting. It would be a Zoom meeting, and if individuals care to attend, they can come here to central office.
When's the vote?
The vote is
November 2nd.
second. So we fall within the time period.
Since it's a public informational meeting, maybe time should be later than 5 o'clock so that people are getting off work at 5. They have a chance to get home to a Zoom or get here.
That's fine.
I think so.
Okay, well, why don't?
Or should you have it at the firehouse? I don't know. If depending on how many people want to attend. Maybe there won't be that many people. I don't know.
With a Zoom, it is certainly a lot easier here just to be able to.
Well, that's fine. I just,
Okay, well, let's just
suggested
change
that
the
it-
time. Does anybody have any problem with 6 o'clock? Ed, does that meet your,
It's okay.
sure,
Yeah,
6
better.
o'clock, 6 o'clock here
Yeah.
on the 25th. And we will have notifications placed in the proper.
Yep, yep, it's
Yeah, yes.
all dictated by statute where it has to be posted, how many postings, yep.
Right.
Okay, so October 25th, 6 o'clock at the SVSU Central Office upstairs conference room and via Zoom. So I'll make that change in the resolution. So if the board is all set with that, then we would just need a motion to adopt the resolution and approve the associated documents, which are the special meeting warning and the ballot.
We have a motion. You have that motion?
So moved.
Okay, we have Ron made the motion, Fran seconded.
Fran,
I mean, Leon, I'm
Leon.
sorry.
Years.
Yeah, I know who you are.
Yeah, you guys have changed. See what you get wearing a mask? Nobody knows you anymore.
You didn't have your
take
hat
your
on.
head off there. Then what?
Okay, are there any, we have a motion, we have a second. Is there any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
Nay.
Okay.
We have 3 opposed, and we have, let's see, we don't. Let me just go through so we have this exactly the way it should be. The 3 opposed are Ed, Fran, and Jackie. Those in favor would be Leon, Carrie, Dave Frederickson, Susan. Tori is not here, is that correct?
Oh, Stephanie's just coming in right now too.
Stephanie, are you there?
She's connecting right now. She's still connecting. She's connected right now. She can hear you.
Okay.
Hopefully she'll come in.
Stephanie, can you hear me?
You need to unmute.
Yes, I'm sorry. I apologize. I just realized that what time it was.
Okay, just to introduce you to the board and other people, Stephanie is our newest member of the board. She represents Shaftesbury. She has been the business manager of the CDC, has been involved in many activities within the school system, including negotiations, as well as general maintenance and upkeep of buildings. And a lot of other things. So we welcome Stephanie, and hopefully you can be here on time.
Yes, I apologize. I'm on vacation and I just realized that there was a bond vote. So
Okay, we have a bond vote. Stephanie, are you familiar enough with it to be comfortable with voting?
yes,
Okay, we just had a vote. Your vote would be yes then?
yes,
So we have Stephanie, Ron, we have Ron's vote.
Yes,
So-
yeah.
Okay, Richard, do you have those names? I assume it does. I know Laura has it down, so I think we're all set. So all board members are accounted for, one way or the other.
Yeah.
Okay, very good. Are there any other issues that should be brought before this board that are appropriate to bring before the board at this time?
Do we have any idea on when we're gonna have a physical survey of what is needed by the main MAU building? I know that a study was planned, but it was apparently canceled last year sometime due to COVID, and I really think we need that number for a ballpark
Okay.
estimate of what is needed before
Okay,
I feel comfortable saying we're gonna spend $3.5 million on the field.
okay. We can, I'll look into that in our next board meeting, which is coming up the third Wednesday of this month. I'll be able
I
to
mean, I asked,
answer that.
I emailed Mr. Coquine about it, but he didn't get back to me on when
Okay, I will.
we might have it. He just said it was put aside because of the COVID restrictions,
Okay, we can do
which
that.
is understandable, but nevertheless.
All right. Are there any other issues that should be brought before this board?
I move adjournment.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed or abstentions? Thank you very much.